This am not my world.
This not remember episode at all.
I got a question, Scott.
Okay.
Given the times in 2024, you know, and this sensitivity that happens, out there, do you think that Bizarro can actually exist in live action nowadays?
I
See? Oh, I got you on this one, huh? Yeah, a little bit. Huh?
you know what? Someone would be offended.
Of course.
Let's be honest. Um you could do you can do a version of Bizarre. I know I'll use this as an example because I
Okay.
know you didn't watch it all the way. But they did Bizarro on Smallville in a way that you could do
Okay.
because they don't do it this way. Like they don't do the me am stupid, Bizarro. They did a different kind of Bizarro that I think a might be a way to make it less offensive. I don't find that's not me saying that it's offensive. I'm saying some snowflake out there would, and you're right. I mean, this is just ridiculous. But
Before you continue your pixelating, right off the bat, of course,
right off the bat,
you am pixelating.
uh, uh, uh.
No, but I wanted to like say that. I was like, when I was watching this episode, I was kind of like thinking about that. And hi, Mom. Good to see you here. It's great watching Dune Part 2 with you again. Again, me again, and then good to see you, Jason. We got Landon right here. Yeah, good. All right, there you go. But no, I just was like, it just that thought occurred to me like when I was watching this episode. I'm like, yeah, it didn't occur to me the first time we saw Bizarro, but I was like, I was like thinking, I'm like, huh, because we have Tim Daly essentially, doing the voice, and again, like where when it comes to society now, and certain types of people need to play the certain types of actor, it's just like that whole thing, and I'm just kind of going like, just let actors be actors, kind of thing. I mean, and I think it's shifting back to just that. But it was just like one of those things that I was going, if they were to try to do a Bizarro live action, I mean, there would be, like you said, there would be some people that would get offended. But I think for the general audience, people would be like, who cares? Who cares?
Well, and it's weird, and I think we talked about this before, but for the sake of this episode, because it's been a hot minute since we did Identity Crisis.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of like go back to Superman 4. There was actually, have you watched the deleted scenes for Superman 4?
Don't know if I have.
Okay, because Nuclear Man was originally conceptualized to be a version of Bizarro because there are some deleted scenes for Superman 4 of failed attempts at Nuclear Man that basically are Bizarro.
Dude. Yeah, I think I remember. I don't think I've seen those scenes, but I remember hearing about that. Yeah. Wow.
So it's the but there have been shows. I mean, if you go the clone route, and once again, Bizarro has been done many different ways throughout the history. But if you go the clone route, you can do an evil clone that's just uh falling apart,
Yeah.
without making him me
Yeah.
stupid. Like, because Bizarro has been done where he's just, an evil clone that's falling apart.
Yeah.
And I think it's possible to do the character. I just don't think you can do the character, this way,
Quite like this. Yeah.
quite like this. Um, and as I indicated at the beginning, dude, except for maybe one thing here, one thing there, watching the episode for tonight's stream was like watching the episode for the first time because I remember jack shit.
Dude, well, like I said last week, I remembered this episode. There was things I was like, "Oh, yeah, 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 yeah," and it was like, I don't know why this episode, like, rang in my head when you said like, when we were doing Bizarro's World, I was like, "Oh, yeah, there's things I remember," and things popped in my head, and sure enough, I was like, "Yeah." So I'm the opposite. There was things I was like, "Oh, yeah, I remember this
I'm trying
episode."
to, when was the last time this happened, where like we watched an episode, it was back in Batman, where it was
Probably.
like I felt like there was an episode where it's like, dude, I remember Jack about this episode. And you're like, oh no, I remember this so clearly. And we were both like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But this one of those episodes, like I took like no notes because I was too busy like watching the episode going, you know what I think what happened? I think
Mm.
I never saw this episode on TV.
Really?
I think that I probably have seen this episode one time when I got the DVDs, like
Ah.
when the original season 1, season 2, season 3 DVDs get released. Because there were some episodes that the first and only times I saw them was when I watched them on the box sets as they get released. I bet you I watched this episode one time as I was binging through the season 2 box set, and it's probably the only time I've seen this episode, which is funny considering that, jumping ahead to Bizarro's third appearance, Little Big Head Man, um, I remember that episode clearly. But yet this episode, which is funny because based on where Bizarro ends in this episode, that's where Little Big Head Man, picks up.
Hmm.
I guess I just never saw this episode. And then when I saw the Little Big Head Man, I just went, okay. And I just kind of rolled with it.
Just rolled with it. Anyways, all right. Well, that was the opening of this stream right here with DC Fan-imated stream. Welcome everybody watching right now, of course, or watching later, or even listening. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Bizarro's World from Superman the Animated Series. Of course, I'm Dave, the Film Junkie, and with him as always, Mr. Scott McClellan. How you doing
I
today?
totally realized we just didn't even bother introducing ourselves in
I
this.
know, I know, I know,
Like,
because I wanted to start off with because I had this thought and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start off a little contra. I'm gonna throw a little curveball at Scott right here.
but you
So
notice how I just rolled right with it because I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
I knew
no.
you'd be. I knew you'd be good. I knew you'd be good. I knew you'd be good. And are you pixelating again? Yeah, you are. Damn it.
Bizarro Scott.
Sadly, that happens. But thank you guys, of course, for joining right now. Yeah, we're talking about Bizarro's World, which, yeah, it's interesting because I remember this episode. I remember watching this episode a few times. So that's what's funny is like, the fact that Scott doesn't remember it, but I remember.
At
I was like,
all.
yeah.
No.
So it's interesting. But yeah, we're talking about Bizarro's World. There's a couple of things when it comes to this episode. I mean, it's not it's a Bizarro episode. It's not anything that's like, oh my god, this is like,
It's not terribly deep. It's not
yeah, it's not
terribly
deep.
deep.
I mean, it's got a
No.
little deepness to it. There is a mistake in the animation that I saw.
Ooh, I want to hear about. I can't
Yeah,
wait to
yeah.
hear more
There's
of this
something
stuff.
that I was like, wait a minute, they made a mistake in something, and I was wondering if you caught it too. But sounds like maybe you
No,
too.
no, I
Yeah,
was too
that's right.
busy experiencing the episode like it was the very first time.
Yeah. So yeah, some interesting stuff here because the last time, when it came to Identity Crisis, I mean, it was a good episode. It was a good introduction, and there was a lot of things when it came to the episode. And then, of course, with Bizarro, we were wondering where, what happened to him and everything. So, I mean, we kind of just like go right back into like, okay, yeah, what did
Okay,
happen to
that
Bizarro?
bothered me a little bit
Okay,
at the beginning of this episode because it was like, how long has it been since Identity Crisis? Because we've watched quite a few
point
episodes, and Lois is just now driving back to the facility to be like checking up on it. Like,
my theory. She had a lot of things that have been happening recently, and then and then
he
things
was
got
boinking
stale.
Batman. We
Yes,
understand. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
She had some fun with Bruce
with
Wayne.
Bruce, yes,
Yeah, almost
yeah.
got like pretty much moved to Gotham because that Bruce D. Anyways, I had to. Come on. But yeah, I think like maybe things got a little stale, little, lot of not a bunch of action happened, I guess you could say. And then she was just like, maybe she had it like on a list of like, yeah, whatever happened to Bizarro, and maybe I'll start looking into it, because we start off with her just going up that mountain on that crazy
And
freaking.
she's gunning it, by the way.
It's Lois Lane. I mean, there is no guardrail. Did you notice that
No,
on that road?
it's one lane too. It looked like
Yeah,
it's a one lane.
and there's like no real road. It's just, yeah,
No.
it's not safe. But Lois is like, I don't give a shit. I am just gonna head up to that facility and see what the hell is going on. And of course, she gets stopped by a gate and a guard with a gun. And even though they're like, no, nothing to see here, it seems like there's something to see there. But because there's somebody there, I don't know.
Well, but it's also Lex Luthor. So it's
Yeah,
like, he's just going to have, everything is like sectioned off. Yeah, it went kablooey at the end of Identity Crisis. And it was like, yeah, but it's still my property. Like, Luthor would be petty enough to go, I still own this property.
yeah,
Screw off. Fuck off. Like, no,
yeah.
nothing. No, nothing. I love how Superman, however, shows up and is like, I've already scanned it. There's nothing there.
But at the same time, I mean, going back to World's Finest, it seems like Luthor would take like, the precautions of lining shit with lead.
Lead. Well,
Yeah.
but also, boom.
Yeah. True.
Like there's no, did you see it?
They saw,
There was a crater. There
yeah,
was
they
no
show that.
building left.
That's the first shot you see before you pan over to Lois driving like a crazy person up this mountain. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's true. It's very true. But I mean, yeah, and yeah, again, it's Luthor. It's Luthor. And then of course we then do get Bizarro, walking through the snow. He's up in the mountains.
Where? Like
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
just, okay. The beginning of this episode presented some challenges for me, like just
Okay.
logically. It's like, okay, so Kablooey, okay, how did Bizarro survive?
Yeah.
Where is he? Has he just been walking this entire time? Like, what's been up in
Yeah,
what's been up in Bizarro's life?
it's one of those where they're like, hey, we gotta let's go back to Bizarro, and it's almost like they're making it seem like this is like 5 days later.
I know, and that's the thing that
Yeah.
bothers me, considering how many episodes it's been since that episode. It's like you can't just pick up, like, shit's gone down since that happened, and it's like, and they don't. And once again, 22 minutes. This is gonna be one of those 22 minutes. It's just like, no, he survived. He's wandering through the snow like Clark in BVS. It's just like,
Yes.
where is he? I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't
But, but
know.
but I will say I do like the fact that we have Superman talking over him walking through, and it's like, maybe he was like me when I, realized I was an alien and not knowing who I am. So they kind of do this kind of like dramatic voiceover thing while he's walking through the snow.
And that was very well written and
Yeah.
very well done. I like the parallel that they draw between Superman and Bizarro. That was really well done. Like I said, I'm coming at this from the nitpicky of the what's going on. Like, y'all,
Yeah.
like the
I
episode
get it.
definitely gets stronger as it like goes on.
Yeah.
I do, however, love that this episode answers a question that we asked several weeks ago.
Okay. Before we get to that, this is where we get to the animation mistake.
Oh, okay. Do tell.
Because when he looks into the water, the S is not backwards. And we talked about this, how Bizarro's S normally is backwards, but in the animated series, it is not backwards.
Right.
And in reflection, it's still the right S.
Oh, it doesn't do the mirror effect.
No, it doesn't do the mirror effect.
Oh, good.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. And I had to rewind. I'm like, yeah, they didn't fucking do the mirror effect, because then I was like, wait, because in the animated series, they didn't reverse the S like they do in the books.
And you know what? And that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Because then it would have been a nod at
Exactly.
the typical Bizarro S. Oh.
Anyways, what were you saying?
No, well, but when he gets to the ski lodge,
Yeah.
which I think is hilarious. How he just walks through the wall. I mean,
Kool-Aid. Oh yeah.
yeah. Well, there's a reference
Yeah.
for us '80s kids.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and Angela Chin is doing like some big, who knows about the real Superman?
Yeah.
Maybe the one, Dr. Emil Hamilton. But we finally get an established in the DCAU, where's the Fortress of Solitude?
Yeah, true.
We debated this. I think you even
Yes.
made a YouTube short
Yeah,
out
I
of
think I
it.
did a clip about that. Yeah.
I think you did a clip about that
Mhm.
where, because we talked about how in the Silver Age and in Superman 78, the Fortress of Solitude is in the North Pole. In post-crisis John Byrne era Superman, it was in Antarctica.
Yeah.
So we were like, so where is the Fortress of Solitude in this show?
Yeah.
And so this episode finally says, yep, it's the North Pole.
You
And
know
so I was
what's
just like,
crazy?
cool.
You know what's crazy? I mean, it almost seems like things are like written in the stars anytime we talk about this stuff. Because last week we talked about the episode, and it was Superman's birthday, and this week, what did James Gunn post? He posted a behind-the-scenes shot because they shot Superman's Fortress of Solitude.
Yes, in
And now,
Norway, right?
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, who knows? Like when it comes to the aspect of the story of where they place it, but I mean, that's where they were shooting. But it's just kind of funny that we're talking about, oh yeah, we got the location here, and then, you know, he's filming something already with the Fortress. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool because I was like, yeah,
That is cool. But I also love how good on Bizarro
uh-huh.
that he goes to the North Pole and that he basically just listens.
Yeah. He's flying around and he hears the creatures and finds out where, and of course, he just crashes through there.
I mean, I also love the fact that like there's like the little lake that Superman like
Yeah.
flies into to come up into the Fortress of Solitude, and Bizarro, being Bizarro, just instead of going in the lake, he just goes straight through the ice, and I'm just okay.
Just
You
does
do
that.
you do you, boo. You do you.
Yeah. Hey, it's Bizarro. And then of course, I guess we meet our, his version or a version of
Okay,
Krypto. Yeah.
so that was the part of this episode that I remembered.
Yeah.
Because obviously, based on how the episode ends, that creature shows up in Little Big Head Man.
Yeah.
I remembered, his doggy,
Yeah.
and how it's constantly trying to like kill him and
Yeah.
eat him, and it can't because he's like partially
Mm.
Kryptonian.
Yeah.
But I just love that because he, oh, you friend now, doggy.
Yeah.
And but then when he walks to the Brainiac orb in the Fortress of Solitude, dude, in the flashback to Krypton,
Yeah.
there's Krypto.
Yeah, I know. He's right there. Like we
He's right
talked about.
there.
Yeah, we talked about when we first started talking about these episodes. Yeah. I know. It is of course he walks up to the box, the whole beam, and you see the S on his
Because he
forehead and
still has he still has Superman DNA in him, so the box would recognize him as
yep.
Kal-El. Yeah.
And we hear what's his name? That
Corey
does
Burton.
Corey Burton doing the Brainiac voice, which we always love to hear. And of course, he gets like that little backstory. He figures out. It's like one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, he figures out who he is technically, but he gets the backstory. He gets the origin story. So and then of course we have Superman, which I love that they show the entrance. Him just coming out of the water. And so because like you said, it's like yeah, here's his entrance right here. And then, of course, Bizarro was like, taking the Kool-Aid man entrance, but just
Oh, yeah.
through. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, he sees one of the creatures out. He's like, how did you get out? Don't tell me we have visitors. It's like, yeah. When you have this secretive place, this magical place, and yeah, it's like, that's got to freak out. But it's almost like Superman goes, is it who I think it is? And it's like he
I
suspects.
thought Superman was a little chill
Yeah.
for thinking that somebody was in the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with, the menagerie, the glass being smashed, he
Mhm.
was kind of like taking it really calmly. It really wasn't like he didn't freak out until he saw. I love the way they like drew like Bizarro's like crooked like
Yeah.
footprint stance right in front of the Brainiac orb, and
Yeah.
I was just kind of like,
He freaks.
that.
He has a big reaction, like, ah, oh
Yeah,
shit, he was here.
I think that's the weird thing is that he's so chill about the idea that someone like smashed open the menagerie, but
Yeah.
then it's not until he sees the Bizarro footprints that he goes, well,
Oh.
shit.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, yeah, because it's like when he first gets there, it's like, does he know? But he's like, no, until he sees those footprints, he has a pretty big reaction to it. And he's like, oh, I know who those footprints are. And it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it is kind of weird. Like you said, he was a little too chill. Pardon the pun. We're in the Fortress of Solitude here.
Oh, dude, you just went there. Okay. All right. I didn't even go there. I make the dad jokes here, and
This
I
is
didn't
where
even
I'm
go
here,
there.
folks. Come on. Anyways, and then we get to the cultural center in Metropolis where yeah, we get Bizarro just crashes through there, people freak out, and then he starts just like,
Remodeling.
he starts remodeling, takes some stairs, puts it on top of the building, and then you realize, oh yeah, he's trying to make Krypton.
No, that element I do think is a fun element of the
Yeah,
episode. Like
it is.
he is so intent on, you know, I think because there is a comic book precedent for him like creating like even on Bizarro World, like as presented in the comics.
Yeah. Well,
Um
I mean, it kind of almost reminded me of like a version of Baby Doll trying to get the cast back together, and yeah,
Yes! Yeah, that's a great one from oh, I love that.
yeah.
That's a
So it's
really great connection there.
yeah, so you got a villain who is like trying to just put their world. I mean, obviously it's a little bit different, but I was like kind of just like going, yeah, it's kind of like when Baby Doll like got, kidnapped the cast, got them back on the set to build her world back to what she remembers it. Of course, Bizarro doesn't remember it, but he's trying to do so. I don't know. That's that was a connection I made when it came to it. So
Oh,
kind of cool.
that's cool. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. I do like the moment though, like when he's doing some sort of crazy remodeling, and then he like it's like you see what he sees, where he's like, "Oh yes, this looks exactly like he's trying to mimic Kryptonian architecture."
Yeah.
I liked that little moment there. I do have to admit though, I got a huge laugh when he sees like the bellman, the doorman, and he goes, "Da da."
Da-da.
Because when you look at that outfit, like when you like, I always think about when I think of like Home Alone 2 Lost in New York and like the doorman, character at the
Yeah.
hotel.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that you go, okay, I do see how that outfit looks a little bit like the way that they drew Kryptonian attire in the pilot. I got that. I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool. I like
No,
that
it made
joke.
sense. It made sense that that was happening. And then, of course, hey, we got Turpin showing up
And
again with his,
Maggie.
and Maggie, and it was his crazy eyebrows, and it was like, okay, yeah, I was glad that they were incorporated. And then, they show up, and then of course Lois shows up, and then I like his like line where it's like, all the wackos come to you.
I know, right. Okay, I have to take one, however, tangent to talk about Maggie here.
Okay.
I know it's been there the entire time, but for some reason it really struck me uh watching this episode, the way she was animated. What is she wearing underneath that really tiny trench coat?
That's really,
Because
you know what? That's something I didn't think about.
because dude, she's got some legs
Yeah, of course.
and
She's
and
got legs. Dun,
she's
dun, dun,
got
dun.
legs, and
Well,
she's
she knows
got
how
a
to use.
black shirt and that trench coat, it's got like it's like mini skirt length. And I'm like, Maggie, what are you wearing? Like, what are you actually wearing to have that much leg showing? I'm sorry. It's just the moment that I just went,
again,
I got
got
distracted. I have to say,
yeah.
Maggie's legs distracted me.
Okay. Again, watching this as kids, you don't think about that. Pre-pubescent. Now, as old perverted men, we notice this stuff now.
I know, and also the fact that Maggie's a lesbian,
Yeah.
and it's just
So,
and it's like, okay. Which, by the way, I'm gonna
what?
look forward to pointing out that they hint at that in the series
Oh, wow,
later.
interesting. Can't wait for
I
that one.
remember, I think I even remember it's gonna happen this season, and it's like a great little like, if you know, it's a if you know kind of situation. They don't say anything, but it's like, oh, there it is. Okay, and I
Oh,
love the
yeah,
way that they like got away with that.
I like it. No, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's like, what is she wearing? But hey, you know what? She rocks it.
She does rock it. That not gonna
It's a good
lie.
look. It's a good look. It is a good look. So, so then of course, yeah, we see that, and then yeah, we see that they show up, and then of course Lois shows up, obviously, like I just said, and then Bizarro sees her, and it's like, hey, Lois, obviously it's Lois, and then Turpin, of course, tries to like intervene, and he just
Like
tosses.
Turpin. I mean,
Like, what are you
Turpin.
doing,
What do you
dude?
do?
Come on, you know this stuff.
I mean, he's a clone of. It's interesting because if you go back to Identity Crisis, Turpin and Maggie, no one would have had a interaction with Bizarro because
Mhm.
pretty much Superman fought Bizarro, you know, throughout the city. Bizarro causing havoc, trying to save people. So they might know about Bizarro, but they never actually met Bizarro. But there's a
Mhm.
part of me that goes, Turpin, do you see what he's wearing? What do you
Read the room
read
there,
the room,
detective.
man?
You're a detective. It's like, Jesus, are your eyes blinded by those ridiculous freaking eyebrows? What's going on here? Trim those shits. Yeah, I know. That's Turpin. He thinks he's just got, he thinks he's, yeah, it's just Turpin. That's
It is
what.
just Turpin. It really
Yeah,
is. He's got balls. I'm
he's
not
got
gonna lie.
balls. I'll
He's
I'll
got
give
balls.
give
Yeah.
him that. Give him that. And then of course, Krypto comes out. Yeah, Bizarro's Krypto comes out, and then I mean it's a freaky, it's a freaky looking like, it's like a Lilo and Stitch, like,
It
but
does look like Stitch. Oh my
Stitch, yeah,
god. It is
yeah,
Stitch. It
yeah, but the mouth opens like sideways. Yeah, it's a little
oh, it's crazy, but still it's like rah, rah,
yeah,
rah, rah.
ah, yeah, and then Lois gets freaked out, and then he gets freaked out by Lois's
I know
scream.
she screams and it scares Krypto. I love
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
and I
when they
love it
go
how
inside.
Bizarro like gets onto us. You'll scare Krypto.
No, it's like, no, that's not what's happening here. But I do like that Lois was like, hey, all right, I got this. I know what I'm dealing with here. She's confident enough to be like, just let it be. Superman will show up soon. Don't worry. She's confident in all that. So that's why she proceeds to go inside.
Because if we go back to the way that Identity Crisis ends,
Yeah.
his whole point was Superman save Lois.
Yeah. So she
He's not
knows
going to
she's
hurt her.
yeah.
Oh, at least not intentionally. Like I think Lois knows Bizarro would not intentionally hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
Bizarro would actually protect her. So I feel like that's, but besides Lois just being Lois, and Lois has, I mean, you know, I love it how, Swanwick says it in BVS, with ball, with, with balls like that, you belong in here. It's like she's got, I mean,
Dude,
she, she's, she would walk in
that's
that situation anyway, besides the fact that she knows that Bizarro would protect her based on what happened in Identity Crisis.
it's a good Lois moment,
It's a
and
very good
and that's
Lois moment.
one of the things that that's been represented many times, and it's always been the core of Lois is yeah, and I think that's one of the best lines of describing Lois is Swanwick saying that it's like with balls like yours, you belong in here. I mean, it's just little subtle things like that because I'm like, yeah, that's fucking Lois all throughout,
Although, I mean, when any
iteration.
interpretation,
Yeah,
any iteration of Lois, that's it.
Yeah.
It's great. So I just love seeing it, once again in this interpretation, like her speeding up a car with no guardrail and one lane, not really a road. Like that's who she is.
And I love when Lois sits down and Bizarro does the
I remembered
"Ugh,"
that was one of the random moments I
that you
remembered.
remembered.
I remembered
Yeah,
I remembered Bizarro doing the old-fashioned yawn, put the arm around the girl part. I was just like, man, I remember random shit from it's amazing how like 95% of this episode I don't remember at all. This is the random shit that I remember.
right.
Okay,
That's the
that's
one. The
that's the one.
"Ugh." Yeah. But then, of course, when Superman shows up, he's like, all right, I have an idea of taking him out. He says something to Turpin. Well, it was like something that has to do with the shiny. I'm like trying to remember now because I wrote a note, shiny ball. I was like, what did he say right there? I don't know. We'll skip that. I was like, shiny ball was confused.
No, okay, because I think because Lois is asking about what's this, and Bizarro's explaining how the shiny ball because
Okay, that's what it
she's
was.
asking Bizarro how he can remember Krypton,
Oh, okay, shiny ball.
and
Okay, so that's
shiny
what it was.
ball showed him.
That's what it is. Okay, because I was like, I totally just blanked. I'm like, why did I write about a shiny ball? I'm
Well,
like, what does
because
that mean?
that's what's on your brain most of the time, Dave. It's
Shiny balls.
shiny balls. I mean,
Yes,
it's just yeah.
a lot of ball talk on here. Turpin with big balls, Lois with balls. Jesus Christ, we might as well just label this episode balls. Big
Balls,
balls.
space
I got
balls.
big balls. You got big balls. We've got big. Anyways, ACDC. All right. And we've got the biggest balls of them all. Yes. All right. It's a good song. Anyways,
Merchandising.
yeah, merchandising. Spaceballs, the coloring book. Baseballs, the cereal. Yes. God.
Space balls, the lunchbox.
Yeah. The flamethrower. Oh, such a good.
This is you also if you've not seen Mel Brooks' Spaceballs, treat
Oh,
yourself.
please do yourself a favor. But yeah, Superman shows up, and then of course he has an idea, and it's a good idea. Why not just show up in there with the kryptonite suit and holding a piece of kryptonite? Because all right, this will stop him. This will be
I'm
good.
assuming this is the piece of kryptonite that is from Star Labs that we've just
Probably.
randomly wondered, like, where the hell did Professor Hamilton get some kryptonite?
Yeah, probably that.
Probably that. We're gonna go with that explanation
Go with
because
that.
once again we go from one piece of kryptonite in a little piece of home. You got the little piece of kryptonite you see at the end of a little piece of home, and then
True.
suddenly, besides the laughing dragon from World's Finest, there's just like whenever we need kryptonite, they just it's there. Like
It's
there was
readily available.
it's readily available. There's the kryptonite to power Metallo. It's just like
It's always there.
it's there. We have
When needed. Yeah.
when needed, kryptonite is available.
Exactly. But did not because he did. I mean, Superman just goes like, "Hey, yeah, here, have this shiny rock," and then he's just like, "Oh," and he's just plays with it.
Pretty
Like,
rock.
yeah, and it's like it doesn't affect him. He goes, "Oh shit, I guess with all the cloning stuff, not the same kind of genetics, so this is not affecting him." Oops.
Yeah.
Plot twist.
I know, right? Did I ever tell you a tangent? But did I ever tell
Okay.
you the story of how I won a trivia contest based on
No,
this?
I don't think so.
Okay, Superman Returns. Uh, went to I wouldn't say a midnight screening because it was like one of the first times that they actually showed the movie like at 9 o'clock on a Thursday night, like before you could go see previews like at 4 something. So because remember before we actually saw Superman Returns, we were super excited about this movie.
Of course.
So I went to first showing of Superman Returns, and my what rest in peace, what used to be my LCS, would go to these things and do trivia contests and give away stuff. And I actually won an issue of World's Finest Comics at this premiere of Superman Returns because the question was green kryptonite, hurts Superman. What hurts Bizarro?
Yeah.
And I knew the answer.
What's the answer?
Blue kryptonite.
Yeah, it's a different color.
It's a different color, right?
Yeah.
Which that's interesting because I don't think in the animated universe
Yeah.
they go down that road. Like
I don't think so either.
there's only green kryptonite. Like they don't go into, dear God, I have a slideshow that I could show you one time of all the fucking different colors of the rainbow of kryptonite that there has been in the comics.
Mhm.
It's like it's in I created a table
That's
of
funny.
different colors of kryptonite and what it does. They got a little nuts in the Silver Age. I'm
Yeah, of
not
course.
gonna lie. Mhm.
Yeah. They like their colors in the
They
Silver Age.
like their colors. Oh,
They like
yes.
their colors. But yeah, so this is like an oh shit moment. And then of course what happens is like, yeah, little Krypto decides to attack Superman. And we already know where that's gonna be headed because of
I
the
swear
convert.
this suit Hamilton,
Yeah.
dude, bro. We got there's gotta be something more durable.
Yeah.
This suit seems to get ripped open, tore up, beat to shred. I mean,
Especially right here with the emblem.
right where the emblem is, okay? Because let's look at this. Like it's been metallo through like
Yeah.
rock at it,
Uh-huh.
and it smashed it open. Lava melted it.
Yep.
Joker's acid melted it. Um, and Krypto could just rip a patch off of it.
Yeah.
Clearly, we need to invest in some R&D and find something more durable so that if he's going to wear this protective kryptonite suit, it doesn't get a fucking hole in it.
Seriously, Jesus. I'm like, good God, good God. I'm like, this is really gonna happen. And then of course Bizarro was like, well, it's time for act 2 of this whole thing, and we gotta blow up Krypton.
Bye
So
bye, Krypton.
so it's like, okay. He just heads out and it's like, okay, he's gonna do something. All right. Leaves everybody there. And then of course, things start to crumble, obviously, because that was one of the things that Superman saw when he showed up. It's like, yeah, this building's kind of fucked up now because of what he did.
And
So
then he flies through the roof and
yeah,
fucks it
which
up
makes
even
it
more.
worse. Yeah. So everything's starting to crumble, but so we got Lois and the
doorman.
bellhop, the doorman guy, whatever the hell, is like, they're trying to be like, hey, we got to get out of here. And of course, Superman's trapped under debris. So, and he's got the kryptonite right there. But smart guy, he finds a little piece of debris, and just kind of shoves it out, and it
Does he need
falls
some
off.
deodorant? Is that what he
I know,
needs?
right? Yes, he needs some. Yeah, he needs some degree. He's getting a little hot. I mean, that suit.
That suit. I mean, I'm
be
sure he's perspiring.
probably a little bit. Probably a
Probably.
little bit. Probably goes right through it with that material, whatever the fuck it is. Cotton. Jesus Christ, Hamilton, come on. So yeah, he gets it out of there. All right, cool. Gets him to safety, and then of course find out that Bizarro is heading to like a place.
Fort Sherman. That's what it was.
What was it?
Fort Sherman.
Okay, where a lot of weapons are and missiles.
I guess how did Bizarro know this? I don't
Who
know.
knows?
Just roll with it.
We gotta roll with it.
22 minutes. Because that part didn't bother me as much as, okay, so he smashed. Once again, there's a big hole in the ground because that's what Bizarro does. He just, Bizarro smash. And he pulls a missile out. I'm sorry, missiles don't work like this.
No.
But I love the fact that he just throws it into the air, and then suddenly the jet decides to like kick on and then head straight to Metropolis because apparently for reasons it's targeted Metropolis.
They weren't thinking about it. Yeah, it's just like
I'm
one
sorry.
of those
This is where we just poke holes and go, listen, fun episode, but reasons.
No, I remember when I was rewatching, because this is where we're gonna start watching it. I remember I rewound it, and I actually had it at the screenshot of the exhaust coming out of it. I went like, how did that exhaust even start coming out of that thing? I'm like, it's just like, okay. And yeah, you're right. It's like, how does it know where it's going. It's like, all right, we just got to suspend disbelief.
Oh, there's a lot of there's an
Yeah.
uncanny valley that we're having to suspend
It's
over.
just like, all right, but we have to have this and it's not a bad Bizarro Superman kind of moment when this
No,
all
it's a great moment.
Yeah.
It just
yeah. When we're adults now, we just start nitpicking the shit.
get out of it.
No stop missile. Krypton need missile.
Now this fight is cool, and also
Yeah.
I remember when we talked about Identity Crisis, it was definitely the B team animation, and this is the A team animation on this episode. So I mean, the flying is smooth.
Yeah,
It's nice. It's actually, I think,
that's
the
a cool
same.
shot.
Yeah, it is a cool shot.
Yeah.
I love how Bizarro's got like the Superman, like he
left
learns- He's got left hand down, right hand out.
Opposite, got to be opposite.
Bizarro, you've got to listen.
Ah,
Now that's cool.
yeah, that was a cool shot.
I love, however, also that like for a moment there they were fighting, yet they were still flying forward. Like
Yeah.
like they're not just in the middle of the air.
This isn't
Yeah.
Krypton. Me make it Krypton.
Me
No,
make it Krypton.
explode.
I love it how did you know that Bizarro just threw him over his shoulder, kind of like Batman did in World's Finest Part 1?
True. It's true.
And what about Lois?
Cool shot too.
If you do this, Lois
Yeah.
will die.
Oh,
Lois.
Lois.
Lois not on Krypton.
Krypton.
Right, but she's down there now.
Once again, Superman protects Lois.
Me
Yeah.
save Lois.
He's like, huh.
I love this guy.
I know. He was like, okay, good. I could just get this missile out of here.
Oh, so that's
Thank
how you
God.
interpret it. I always interpret it like, oh fuck, I had to stop the missile by myself.
Oh,
now.
I interpreted it as like he was like, all right,
Relieved.
fine. I could like now not have to fight and reason with him. I could just get this goddamn missile out of here. But then again, could have been the other way. But yeah, and then of course, just a normal day in Metropolis where a fucking missile blows up in the middle of the sky.
Lois.
Not in the river though. He didn't use
True.
the river.
Did not go into the river. And then of course, this is where we get to this little ending right here. And I love how Maggie's like, I got it.
Lois no want to be saved.
Sure, she does.
Sure. Yeah.
It's all right. Lois is safe.
I'm fine. See?
No.
I do ever
I would
like how
love
we
to
talked
know
about
what
Lois
happened
having
after
balls, and yet
Krypton's
there
fight.
she is, like cowering behind Turpin. It's just
That's pretty funny. And then here we go. Actual Bizarro's world now.
yes. Yes, the
will
planet
be
is
the
not
new planet.
square,
Place to
but
protect. Me hate planet. It am empty.
that's a
How can
that's
me
a great nod for people who
protect
know what I'm talking about in the
no one here
comics.
to protect? Actually,
And then it's like,
I thought-
oh, I got you. Don't worry. You could protect someone. And there's that ugly little Stitch.
Krypto.
Me happy now.
Me am happy now.
The thing is trying to eat you.
I know.
That's what's so funny about that. Yeah, there you go.
Oh. It's cute. It's a
It's a
fun little.
there you go. That's a way. It's a cute episode. Like I said,
Hey.
there's a lot of things you have to suspend that disbelief. What's up?
By the way, going right back to your original question when we started the stream, I completely forgot about this until about halfway through the stream, and I was going to wait till the end because I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
Okay.
But you know who did an incredible modern day Bizarro?
Who?
Superman and Lois.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right. I've seen the images. Yeah.
Oh,
I still have to
dude,
watch it. Yeah.
you know that was a cool like
Yeah.
that wasn't just a good way of doing a modern day Bizarro. It's like if you want to make Bizarro cool, Superman and Lois did a great Bizarro. That
Okay.
was once again another. If I need to give you any other reason, like Dave,
I
catch
know.
up on Superman
I
and
know.
Lois.
I watched the first season and I just haven't. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I know. Especially now it's ending. I think that helps it because then I could just go right there and just like go right. Because the new season, the last season, they're already is that already in happening, or are they filming it right now?
They're filming because
Yeah, okay.
Bitsy Pollock, who plays Lois, I know that a few weeks ago she posted her script
Okay.
for, I think, probably like the season 4 premiere.
Whoop.
So
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry about
But I'm excited. Like I said, I love Superman and Lois. It's a great show. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's a
It is.
great show.
Yeah, I have nothing wrong with it. I have a problem with continuing things sometimes. Get a little too busy, but hey,
Binging is good for you.
binging is fun. So that's what I like right there. So there you go, guys. There is Bizarro's World. Little fun episode, cute, like Scott said, and
Didn't remember a damn thing
I
except
mean, yeah,
for
there's things I remember.
Krypto and I cannot believe that's the part of the episode I remember. I think I'm disappointed in, like, if I was like, it's not just that I didn't remember the episode. It's like, that's the part that stuck out in my brain?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Interesting. What do we have next week?
Still with Superman. We're still in Superman. But next week we will be tempted by the hand of fate.
God, it sounds familiar, but man, it's not ringing too many bells here.
Okay, dude, listen to what that's okay. By the way, the hand of fate is the title of the episode.
Jesus Christ. Okay, yes. Fate. Okay.
Oh, God, Dave.
I told you a little bit like sounded familiar, but I'm like, it's not right. Yeah. Something triggered. Okay.
No, the episode is literally called The Hand of Fate.
Yes.
What do you think next week's episode's about?
Yes. Well, there you go, guys. That'll be a fun one to revisit because I'm sure some memories are going to be triggered with that one. Sweet. Love it. So anyways, guys, we appreciate you. Hey, I told you a little bit. Hey, but then when you emphasize fate, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Of course. Hey, you love it. You love it. When
I know. I just love it when I do like some really obvious thing and then it just like goes right over your head and I'm just like, oh shit.
Huh? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait. All right. Me am not smart sometimes. Anyways. All right. So make sure you guys watch that. And we'll be back next week for DC Fan-imated. And go ahead, plug away, Scott.
Of course, you can find me on Twitter X at ScottDC27, on Instagram at McMurlin, and on Vero at Scott McClellan. You can find my podcast, the DC Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found, and the entire network shows at Vero, Facebook, YouTube, and squadcastmedia.com.
There it is, guys. Smash that like, thumbs up, subscribe, share, like, do all that. Support the channel, Patreon, membership, and of course, all the sock meds that are all around. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. We will talk to you later.